Okay, I got tired of using store-bought pizza crust in a bag, and I decided I'm going to have to learn how to make my own crust. Now, I've done it several times before. I've watched dozens of YouTube videos. Who am I kidding? Several dozens of YouTube videos. And I found all sorts of different formulas. Now, most of the videos I watch are from a pizza expert here, Mr. Vito lacopelli. And he really seems like he knows exactly what he's doing. He's been in business a long time, and he's had shops in Italy as well as here in the States. Now, the one problem I have with Vito is that he's only doing these recipes that you end up with 4, 5, 6 different pizza balls. And I'm only looking to make one pizza ball. I'm not looking to open a pizzeria shop. Now, he did make one video that shows you how to make the one pizza dough. The only problem with that now is that he made that with the coolish. I've done it with the coolish before and it worked out pretty well, but I want to make something where I don't have to wait 2 days, make a coolish for a full day, and then pizza the next day, sort of double fermentation. So what I did was I did find a video from somebody called Preppy Kitchen. That's the name of the channel, at least. I'll probably put the link. I'll definitely put the link of both of these people on this particular video. Anyway, from the Preppy Pizza guy, Preppy Pizza. Anyway, I'm going to show you what his recipe is, and I'm going to make some slight variations to it. And the variations I'm making are based on experience with some of the other times I've made pizza. Funny thing is that I got progressively better as I was going along, and then the last one I made was all hell broke loose, and it was just horrible. My biggest problem seems to be actually getting the dough kneaded enough that I can get enough gluten inside it where it doesn't start tearing when I stretch it out. I don't have a mixer. I just don't have a need for a mixer other than if I'm going to be making pizza. And it's kind of hard for me to pull the trigger on a $400 or $500 machine just so I can make pizza once a week or a couple times a month. Anyway, here's a recipe from the Preppy Pizza guy, and I'll tell you the variations I made. He started with 3/4 cups of warm water, and that's going to be used with, he says, a full package of dry yeast, which I'm not going to do, except my experience tells me that that's going to be too much. So I'm going to use a half a pack of dry yeast. His recipe calls for 3/4 tablespoons of salt. I'm going to do that. His recipe also calls for 2 cups of all-purpose flour or 00 flour. I am using 00 flour, Neapolitan style, but I'm going to put 2.5 cups of flour because one of the problems I've been having is that no matter how I do this, I ended up with the pizza too, how could I put it? With too much water in it, and I have to start adding flour, and that messes up the mixture. So I'm gonna do this with 2.5 cups of flour, and I can add just a little water and not actually screw up this mixture. Let me get this out of the way. Another thing he uses is a half teaspoon of sugar, and I'm gonna put, from my experience also, I'm gonna put honey in it. I'm gonna put a full tablespoon of honey inside mine. Now this water, the 3/4 cups of water, has already been warmed up. I'm going to put my half pack of yeast in there. Wow, this is an already open pack of yeast, and it's this difficult to open because I folded it up in a nice little neat bundle. Okay, I got my half pack of yeast. Get it all in there. I got some left in the bag. Good. Now, seems like all of them, everybody agrees that the water should be somewhere around 100 degrees for the yeast to strive, to activate. I want to mix it up very well. Get rid of all the clumps. And then we're going to feed it with some of the honey. Like I said, I'm going to use a full tablespoon of honey, but I'm just going to start it off with half of that. And I don't believe that that's one of the ingredients that you have to be very, very accurate with. so I'm not going to worry about that. Now, honey also is hard to dissolve, so we're going to make sure we mix that up good. And what's going to help facilitate that dissolving is the fact that this water is warm. Mix it up again. Try not to splash it all out. Now, it's supposed to sit in room temperature while it activates. It's a little cool inside this house. I'm in South Florida, so I got the air conditioning pumping here, which I'm going to turn down. I was doing my workout earlier this morning. I needed to be a little cooler. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this inside my oven, with it off, and let it sit there for about 10 minutes. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, not all of this, I'm going to put the 2 cups, leave the half cup in there. The recommended 2 cups of 00 flour inside there. I'm going to put in the salt, the 3/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to put inside there. And this bowl I was going to use to put the yeast in, and I left it inside the measuring cup. So I'm going to get a nice dry fork, or dry this one out, really dry, and just mix in the salt and the flour. Okay, our yeast is forming nicely, bubbling up a storm there. I'm going to mix you up a little bit again. And then we're going to start that process here. We're going to pour that all directly inside the flour. Start mixing that in. I'm more or less folding it in. I'm not grind mixing it in. Now you might see that this is nicely dry without the without adding that extra flour that I had there. But there are some other things going on here. I'm going to get this out. I'm going to need this inside the bowl for a little bit. We still more than likely are going to need, getting tongue tied here. More than likely we're still going to need that extra flour, because there's one more ingredient. It's not in the Preppy Pizza guy's recipe, but it's in every recipe, including Vito's, that I'm definitely going to do here. And that's once this is, formed enough wet stiff here, for the final kneading, I'm going to add some olive oil. Okay. Now, different people have added that olive oil at different times in the stage, but I think the majority of them had added it just at this point. And once again, with the olive oil, just clean my hands a little bit. With the olive oil, we're usually talking about a tablespoon or so. I'm not going to be that accurate with it, but I'm going to put something a little less than a tablespoon, I think. That's that. And the different videos I've seen, they've said different things about why the olive oil. I don't think any of them say anything about flavoring. I think most of them said that the olive oil will help it brown. I'm going to get this out of here now and put this on the counter. The counter is clean. And like I said, this is where I think I've been making my mistake the most, is not kneading it enough to get that gluten going. This is the best I've felt consistency with all the batches that I've made, even though I've made some really good batches. But I'm a little shell-shocked from that last time around. And I didn't tell you that, to add insult to injury, not only I screwed up the dough that last time around, I had a guest here, so I got to screw it up in front of a guest. And then haven't seen the guest in such a long time, my brother from another mother, and got to yapping and yapping after I'd put the pizza inside the oven. And of course, not only did he have not perfect pizza, but he had burnt pizza. But I got no one to yap to right here now except you. And this is not going in the oven until tomorrow. After we knead this up good, then we gotta, as you see, I'm folding onto itself. All right. We're gonna do this for a little while. After we knead this up good, we're gonna plop it into a pan and let it rest for an hour or so. Then we're gonna boil it properly, nice and smooth after that, and put it back in the refrigerator overnight to be made tomorrow. I think I'm very happy with the feel this time. The last few times I did it, the amount of sticking was just unbelievable. But right now, very little sticking to my hand, which makes me very optimistic about this one. Also, you know, I purposely didn't tape all the other times I did it because I was doing all this practicing. And it's not that I was so super confident to tape it this time, but I figured, hey, what the hell? Considering that I told myself that I'm only going to try 2 more times before I give up and maybe try to buy the dough from a shop somewhere. And this is the 1 out of 2 times, but I think it's going to be it today, this time. And when it's it, then I'll follow the same recipe of ingredients each time afterwards. So this is the first video. This is not that I made a dozen videos and throw them out. This is the first one here. And sometimes I'll omit all the sound and do voiceover at the end of the video. But I think I'm going to leave this one with all its warts and mistakes. You know, verbal mistakes it is. All right. I'm happy with you. I'm probably good already. Okay. This is not the boiling section of this, but I just want to make sure it's nice and round, even for the rest cycle. And for the rest cycle, I'm going to clean this pan out a little bit. It's not going to be dry clean. Okay, so it's not super bright clean. Bada bing, bada bang. So a lot of the recipes, including Vito's, he just put a little oil on top of this and maybe just cover it with a pot for the first hour rest. But I'm gonna go with the more conventional thinking of putting a little olive oil in here. There's another thing I learned at one point during the final process of the other pizzas. I put too much oil, and you gotta understand that more oil is like adding water to it. You're changing the consistency. So a little oil on the top so it doesn't dry up. Okay, get out of there. Get off of there. Just drop that guy inside there. Another quick hand wash. report of any COVID or anything like that. I've been washing my hands without exaggeration, gotta be 30, 40 times a day. You know, before and after everything. Every time I walk out of the house and come back in, I wash my hands. I don't know, it's just something I've done. Okay, it's an hour or more later, and the best indication that everything went well is when the dough is doubled in size. I think this is pretty much tripled almost, or very close to triple. And that's the story that I was giving you about putting in a half a pack of yeast instead of a full pack like was recommended there. Now, I'm not sure if they say on the first unloading to put a little flour across there to keep it from sticking. You don't want a lot there. Just a bit. Because like I said, you change the actual formula when you put too much flour there. Let me turn the lights back on. Alright. Now we're going to dump this guy out. Just remember that the bottom is the smooth section there, and that's the part that's going to end up staying on the bottom at the end. This is going to be the top of the pizza at the end. So what we're going to do is keep that bottom smooth section as the top of the pizza. I'll fold it over a couple of times. And we don't want to overwork this dough. That's when you start getting the tears and the gluten. So once I get it folded over, then I seal it off, be sealed, so that the air is trapped inside there. Nice and good. Well, good or well, both. Anyway, then we're gonna roll this around, smooth it out. And that's our dough ball. Nice smooth at the top. Not a lot of heavy work. I think I'm going to use this container. Yeah, I think I do. I like it to be a little bigger, to tell you the truth, so it doesn't interfere, but we still want it to stay fairly round. Let's see if I can find something better. Something rounder. Not too much. Once again, like I said, it'll end up wetting the dough too much and changing the consistency of the mix. But I want the oil to be across the entire pan on the sides also, because it will expand again overnight. This is going to be left overnight. And I do want to put a little bit of not too much. A little bit up top, once again, to keep it from drying out. Drop this guy in there. See how pretty he is. Okay, well, the next day, I'm going to take the dough out of the refrigerator. It's doubled up in size again from extra fermentation overnight. I'm going to let it sit on the counter for at least an hour so that we can get it up to room temperature. Now, as I say before, we're in South Florida and I got the AC cranking. So if I want to speed this process up, I would just heat up the oven just a little bit and then shut it off and put this inside the oven to let it slowly get up to temperature. But I'm not going to be making pizza for a couple of hours now, so I'll utilize that time for an hour, let it get to room temperature, and then I want to preheat the oven for at least an hour. Household ovens don't usually get up to proper pizza making levels. My convection oven goes up to 550, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on convection broil for at least an hour and let it heat up quite a bit with the pizza stone inside, and then I'll drop it down to convection bake at 550 right, the oven's been on for an hour. It's well preheated. The dough is acclimated to room temperature. I was going to stretch out the pizza on this pan, but then I'd have to transfer it over to the peel and then transfer it over into the stone in the oven. So maybe what I'm going to do, maybe I'm going to do it on the peel here. All right, first thing I'm going to do is lay down some flour. Some of that excess flour I had sitting there, as well as some semolina flour also. That's a double zero flour with the semolina flour. Mix that up a little bit. Now this is a lot of flour here, and the point is not to acclimate it into the dough. It's just to coat the dough. Coat the surface of the dough, front and back. I'm going to drop this on. Hopefully that'll drop because it's well oiled. And it is. Throw a little bit of this up top. Now we're not trying to deflate this. We're going to coat this really good with the flour. You gotta remember that this is gonna be the bottom. You gotta remember that that's the bottom. All right, I'm gonna use this tray anyway, just so I can clean this peel off. Oh, maybe I should clean the peel off into that. So this is the bottom. I'm gonna make sure I remember that. Let's clean this peel off. You want a little bit of that flour on there so it's not gonna stick, but not a whole lot. All right, so this is the bottom. I'm gonna start on the bottom first. And we're going to go from the center and start pressing it down and out. Working toward the outside crust. So I'm pretty much deflating the inside and pushing all that air to the crust section. So we have a nice fluffy crust there. Like I said, once again, remember this is the bottom section that I got up top now. I got that good, and I'm going to flip that over. This is the top of the pizza, and to continue that process. Keep pushing it all out to the crust. At this point, that's when they would start actually trying to stretch it out with the special flipping or tossing across the hands and knuckles. I'm not skilled at that, so I'm just gonna slowly pull out the crust. Now to a nice circle here without trying to thin it out too much. Now there is some resistance that wants to go back. Even though this is not the full size of the pizza right now, which is pretty much close, near the edge of the peel already here, so it is pretty much what it needs to be at. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add the sauce. Oh, no, I'm not going to add the sauce. First, I'm going to do a light coating of oil there. And that's going to help with the browning again. So we're still a little slippery here. All right. Yeah, so it'll come off. So make sure it's going to come off the peel. It looked like it wants to come off. And I'm going to put a little sauce in there now. We don't want to overdo the sauce. And we can go stretch this out a bit. few times I've put all the fixing ingredients on there and put it in the oven, but another way to do it, which I've seen, is to go ahead and put this inside the oven with just the sauce on it and cook that for a while. That'll help brown meat out a lot better also. Sticking just a little, but if I shake enough just for it to catch on, then it will, what I don't want to do is burn myself though either. Okay, let's go. Don't panic, just flip the bit. I can get it back over without making a mess. Here we go. And even on the peel, I can pull it a little bit without burning myself here. I recommend you try not to get to this point. Do a little better than me here. Then me. Spin that. That's because I didn't have the peel floured enough where this would slip off nice and easy. I'm going to leave that at that because it's already starting to cook a bit there. See where it's at right now. That's one thing we got to do is make sure we spin it around and it's not overcooking on one side or the other. Another 30 seconds, I'll spin it again. Then we'll take it out and put the rest of the fixing on it, and the final cook will be a short period of time. Okay. So far, I'm pretty happy with it. I wish I didn't have that peel sticking to the point where I wasn't able to keep it stretched out on that one end, but I think we'll be all right. Okay, I think we've had it in there enough on the pre-baking. You can see it's starting to brown up the crust a bit. But I've finished there, but let's get this up. That's gonna stay getting hot for me. This guy back over here. And what I'm going to do with this here, I just want to spread that some of the sauce that caked up in a few spots more. I wish I would have thinned this out a little bit more. I like my pizza a little thinner. I'm just going to put a tiny bit more sauce on here. Really don't need a lot, but I just want to hit a few spots that look like it dried out. Alright, I'm going to mix a little more of that garlic through there. A little leftover garlic. I'm sorry, garlic. A little leftover olive oil. I'm thinking garlic, like garlic on the brain. Okay. Sprinkle some Parmesan. Not too much, but a little Parmesan. And we're going to put the mozzarella. Once again, like I said, you decide the best patch you want. If you want to do fresh cut mozzarella, that's your own. The best thing to do to make sure is that you have a low moisture mozzarella. I use Sargento. Spread that on liberally. So I would like this pizza dinner as large as pan, but like I said, I didn't stretch it as well as I should have. And one thing is, you really don't want to overdo it with the cheese. And smother it. The good rule is that if it doesn't look like it's exactly enough, it probably is enough. And then I'm going to put some pepperoni, of course. nice and easy it is after we pre-cooked it. Okay. Now we get this guy back in on top of the stone. See, it's bubbling up real nice inside there. And the crust is cooking well. I think it's about time to get you out of there. Let's see. Yeah, you're well done. Nice. Let's cut this guy up and see what it looks like. Let's get a better picture, a nice closer shot of you. Okay, there we go. I should have cut this into 6 instead of this 8 I'm about to do, because I didn't stretch it out to a full 16-inch pizza. But a lot of times I like eating the smaller slices anyway. Okay. Alright, got a nice cut up nicely. It's not super thick. It's really nice. We're not going to eat that like that. I can't eat that like that. We'll put a touch of garlic. Just a touch. Nice touch of oregano. And crushed red peppers. Now I get to give it the taste test. I have no idea how well this shot is going to be the way I'm putting it. Oops, look at that. Nice. Oh. This thing's like perfect. It's like so beautiful when it's very, very hot, but not so hot that you can't eat it without burning your mouth with the lava cheese. This is it. So I pretty much got the crust perfect the way I like it. I'll keep the same recipe, but I got to be a little better about stretching it out on the board and making sure that the board is nicely floured where it's going to come off of it.